this is Emmy from Expat TV, and I'm really excited to be here today to chat to you about a topic that I think is really, really important for expats everywhere. And that's around the concept of changing who you are. Now, a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, I feel like I've changed so much during my time overseas. My family back home might not really understand that change happening. I haven't changed enough. I want to apply a different level of thinking. I want to become a different person. What I always say to people, it's not really about changing who you are. It's changing some key assets in the way that you think so you can become more of yourself, not less of yourself. You are always going to be you. And that's a really cool and beautiful and amazing thing that you should cherish and keep very close to your heart. But what you can choose to do is you can become more of yourself. You can elevate your thinking. You can elevate who you are and who you surround yourself with to have a much better life, whether you stay in your home country, move back home in a couple of years' time, or whatever comes in between. So what I want to share with you today are 3 different things that I've noticed with my clients that impacts the most when it comes to becoming more of yourself, becoming even more comfortable in your own skin, and really growing with yourself into the best version of you. So it's not changing who you are, it's becoming more of you. I hope that's really clear. So the very first thing is about your filters and the questions you ask yourself. So life is full of questions, and whether you like it or not, your brain is constantly asking yourself questions like, did I lock the door? Or what should I have for lunch today? But you can also choose to ask really high quality questions. So a really great high quality question that you could ask yourself is something like, what can I choose to learn from the thing that just happened? Rather than asking yourself, oh, I can't believe that happened to me. Why would that person do that to me? You can see how those questions are very, very different, and they're going to give you very, very different results. So your filters and your questions are all around what you believe to be true or not, what you believe to be possible or not, and what you believe to be right and wrong. So be mindful of the type of questions you do ask yourself, because the questions you ask will elevate thing number 2, which is your level of thinking. There's a famous saying in the coaching industry, and it goes something like, a mind that's once been expanded can never go back to its old limits. It's kind of like a child outgrowing its old clothes. It's going to look really weird and uncomfortable for that child to put on clothes that used to fit them a year ago. And the extraordinary thing with thinking is that you constantly influence it by your filters that I mentioned, the type of questions you ask, and eventually the people that you surround yourself with. So what then does all of that kind of mean when it comes to becoming more of you, being more of you? Well, it actually does impact, so your filters and questions impacts your thinking, which takes us to step number 3, which is what you choose to do. Now, a lot of people go, oh, I haven't changed that much, or I still do the same kind of stuff that I used to do. The most important thing to remember on the stage of doing is that even the choice to do nothing is the choice. So if you want to become more of yourself, even more in tune with yourself, the choices that you make and the actions that you take as a follow-on from that will make a really, really big impact. For example, if you ask the right kind of questions, you're mindful of the filters that you have of what's true and not true, the culture you were brought up in and how that matches where you've moved to. But then you get to the doing bit and the choices bit, and you choose to do nothing. You've still made a choice. You've still made the choice to possibly stay where you are and not move forward in growing into even more of yourself. So what I always say when clients get a bit confused and they're like, well, I don't know what direction to take. Firstly, come and work with me if you are confused around this, because there are so many amazing things we can do to remove blockages, help your thinking, ask better questions, and ultimately give you more choice. But otherwise, if you want to have a go at this yourself, which I highly encourage you to do as well, is go out and take little steps, because if you do the same thing that you always did, you're going to get the same results that you always got. What you can do though, and there's a beautiful metaphor for this in the golf industry, when you learn how to swing a golf club, even if you change your aim with just a few %, the ball is going to end up in a completely different place. which means that if you are not really sure what you can do in terms of becoming more of yourself, start taking little steps. Try something new, read a new book, implement the things that you learn, try a new hobby, start to have little reminders around your house for different things. If you're not currently doing any exercise, you might want to just incorporate a small little routine in your life to see what happens as a result of it. Because small changes inevitably brings us closer and closer and closer to the true person that you want to be, and that I know that you are all the way in. And lastly, a lot of people go, well, you know, I'm doing all these changes, I'm becoming this different person, and people around me, whether it's family and friends far away or people that are closer to you like a partner or family member, they might not really understand it, and you might feel that there's a bit of fear around, well, what if I get lost, or what if the people around me don't get that this is really important for me? Just accept where things are at. That's the most important thing. Accept that there are people who may not understand or share your vision of the work that you're doing. If you're doing a bit of self-development work, which I think all of us need to do at some point in our life, if not always ongoing, just accept where things are at. Accept the other person for what they choose to be and believe, what they filter, the type of questions they ask themselves, and how they think. And as a result of that, what they do in their life. Now, you can still, and you're very well within your right to do things differently should you choose to. If you feel that you've been doing a bit of work on this, you've been changing your behavior, you've been changing the type of questions you ask, but you still feel a little bit stuck, it's really easy to move past that. If you work with someone like me or another coach or professional, we're here to do that. We're here to do exactly that, to help you get more in tune with who you really are, or who you really want to evolve into. That's our job. So if you want next year or the next 6 months or whatever it is for you to be really extraordinary in something that you invest in yourself for once, come and chat to me. I'd love to hear how I can assist you to move forward and become the best version of you. Until we meet again, happy travels.